How's it going? Welcome back to the Shot Clock Podcast. It's been a long time, but I'm here with Craig Smith, a retired NBA player. Craig, how you been doing, man?
Nathan, all is well, man. Hanging in there, staying blessed, staying well, but staying out the way.
I got asked with COVID going on, and if you were still playing in the NBA today, how different do you think it would be for yourself?
I think it would be much different. I think we need to sacrifice a lot. There's different things as far as not going out. Being mostly in your hotel room. So I figured I would definitely be in my room just playing PlayStation for sure. And until we have shoot around or game time. So that's how much mine would change. I think less interactions and going out to eat and stuff, and more time playing video games and maybe cards with the fellas.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the bubble, it has to be weird. Kind of, I mean, you weren't in the bubble, but for you, it'd have to be a weird experience because I'm sure for many of these other players, it was a weird experience because they've never done something like that before in their life besides maybe AAU.
Yeah, it was definitely something different. And like you said, this is the first time this has ever been done. And I mean, I've been in a similar situation. I mean, last year I played in a little tournament in Vegas, so we had a little bit of a bubble ourselves. So it was really different. Just go play and then go back to your room.
To talk about that tournament a little bit, what kind of went through your head during that bubble?
I thought we had a chance to really show some really good signs as far as on the scientific part. If everybody stays negative, in which we did, and nobody got sick or got the corona, and we were able to play all our games, so it was really successful. Um, Especially being a part of the vitamin B patch, the B1 patch. I think that was really a boost, and I think something going forward that maybe the NBA or other professional teams definitely should consider.
Yeah, I want to talk about your college career at Boston a little bit. I mean, you're one of the Boston legends, so talk about that a little bit and how everybody talks about that a lot.
It was a great time out there. I mean, I come from Los Angeles, the West Coast, the Sunshine State, and I go freeze my butt off in Boston. Um, but as far as that goes, I had a really great time. I felt like I'd learned a lot there, especially going to Worcester Academy, having to go to prep school first, and then spending my 4 years at BC. Being in both leagues, the Big East and the ACC, really two good leagues that I consider the best leagues in college basketball. And I mean, I got to play with some great talents and and have some really good friends and some great networking. So I really can't complain. But it was definitely something that was really cool because it's like you don't see it these days, especially at our school. And we're just waiting for the day that the Eagles can soar again.
Yeah, you said playing with some great talent. One of the guys he played with Jared Dudley, and that's one of my favorite players on the Lakers currently. So talk about playing with a guy of his caliber.
That was cool. I mean, I had the opportunity since I already had a year up, and he wasn't highly recruited like myself, and I had actually seen him prior to him coming to BC because I got to be like a counselor at ABCD camp, and I got to see him play alongside with Dwight Howard. They were actually on the same traveling team at ABCD camp. So I got to see him. I know he was real good, but I didn't know he was already a senior. So it was good to see him on the first day of campus. I know he says a lot of things like, seeing me made his choice easier to go to BC, and just having him there and being like the best forward tandem ever. I mean, um, the guy's really smart, knows the game well, great human being, heck of a player, and I mean, we had a blast. We had a blast.
How did his like game? Because I know he's a locker room presence. So how did that kind of leak on to you?
Well, I just felt like we all are similar as far as all the BC guys. We were over recruited, overlooked, but we remained humbled, and we really knew the game. So I think it was just all of sharing our ideas, and that's how we really came together, and we had a special bond up there. I still believe to this day, if we don't get that nasty goaltending call, I think we see ourselves in the Final Four.
Yeah, talk about that goaltending call that could have sent you guys to the Final Four.
It's just a nightmarish play, man. I mean, uh, you know, we were scheduled to go man on man, but switch everything. I remember, Dudley kind of called out something similar, being a zone switch. It's kind of like the same thing. Everybody knows we were all switching. So I think the two players end up taking the shooter out and leaving the big man wide open under the basket, in which Son Williams has to come back and goaltend. But I think if we do something else there as far as a different defensive strategy, we definitely see Florida. I already talked to Corey. We were former teammates. We used to talk back and forth all the time. I said, you guys wouldn't have been the champs. I'm gonna just be honest here. You guys had nobody that could guard me, Dudley. And we had a defensive presence in Sean Williams that's gonna block everything. So plus their offense was really predicated on their defense by getting out into the passing lanes and really getting out in transition. We shut all that down with the flex. You're gonna have to guard and play defense for like 30 seconds, and then we get a layup in the last 3 seconds, which is so frustrating for everybody. But at the same time, that was our thing. For me, I've been in the flex since high school. So when Al Skinner showed it to me, it was nothing. It was so easy to me, because I've already been in this system 4 years prior, and now you're just letting me be, one of the floor generals as far as running that offense.
Yeah, hearing you mix a floor general do you ever feel like that was kind of a weird thing for you to have to be a floor general whenever you don't play the point guard position?
Nah, not at all, because I feel like it's just all of being a basketball player and knowing the game and being versatile. I always wasn't tall and brolic. I was small at one point, and I had to learn how to dribble, shoot, all the fundamentals. And I think with me, it just kept with me. I didn't really fully change anything as far as, I know I was a low post player, but I have all these other good talents too. I can really shoot outside. I can really dribble, but what was predicated for that offense was to me being a floor general, setting guys up, making the right play, and then just dominating whenever I had the opportunity.
Yeah, so that switch from college to NBA, you got drafted 36 overall in the 2006 draft. So kind of when you heard your name called out, what was that like for you?
I was thankful. I was humbled. I didn't get to really work out against teams. I had a wrist injury, so I think that's why I got put in the second round. But I know I was a first round talent. But overall, I just wanted to get in. So now it's all about proving yourself and really working hard. And I was ready since day one to go out there and prove this guy's wrong, because I've had the underdog story my whole life. That's why I feel like Tom Brady is such a great example of things, because it's like, wow, I actually lived part of that story too, where they continually write you off. You're not fast. You don't jump the highest. Always something to label you. But I think if you really harness those things in and use it to work out and fuel your fire, sky's the limit. And so, I'm a testament of it. So is that guy Tom, being a 7-time champ. But it's such a good story when you're an underdog, because in my mind, I kind of see it as easy. Like, oh, I just got to prove to you guys you guys think that I can't. And all I have to do is prove that I can. I think for me, it was easy and it was fun, because it was just like, you don't know me. You don't know anything about me or what I'm about, or what I have right here where this heart lies, So it was definitely fun. It's definitely fun.
Yeah, do you feel like the underdog? Because I feel like the underdog mentality is one of the. You hear about Mamba mentality, which is another great mentality to have. The underdog mentality, and I feel like the underdog mentality has to be the best to have, because you're underestimated, you're underlooked at, you're overlooked. No one really thinks that you're going to make too much of a move. and then there you are with Boston College. You guys make a huge splash in the tournament. So what's that like for you to kind of be able to prove haters wrong?
Well, it was a good feeling, but it was just something that, hey, needed to make sure I needed to lock in, run my own race, and make sure I do what makes me happy at the end of the day. And what made me happy was, as long as I win, I feel like that takes care of everything else. They see me win, they know that I'm a winner, and now they know they lost something that was potentially good because I was in their backyard saying in a UCLA or a USC. And just to have success in a big time league did a lot for me and just kept pushing my confidence. Even what else can we achieve? You know, what else can we go after now? That's done. I've showed everybody I can play in college. Now what's next? Well, I want to be an NBA player. Okay, what does that entail? Well, let's keep winning here, keep being a better leader. Let's keep focusing. Let's keep grinding in the classroom, and let's get better every day to continue to prove yourself and climb up that ladder.
Your time with the Timberwolves was about 2 years, I believe, right?
It's three. I had the
3 years.
lucky 3 years.
That was on your rookie contract, right? All three of those.
No, my rookie contract was 2 years, and then I had signed another 2-year deal. So halfway in between the second 2 year, I got traded. But it's crazy because even though it's been 3 years there, I'm one of the few who spent 3 or more years there. Only one of the few. It's like a really low number. But I had a great time out there. They gave me an opportunity of a lifetime. I got to play with Kevin Garnett. I got to learn so much from Kevin McHale. I think those things really helped me. I mean, I got to be first team, on the all rookie team. So it was a great experience. The fans are great. The people are great. I just wish we had more time to really put something together to make something like, really, really stick. Because I felt like we had pieces, and I just felt like we got broken up too fast.
Yeah, and playing with Kevin Garnett and also making the all rookie team. I mean, those are some incredible things to accomplish in your life. I mean, if someone were to tell me that I was to play with Kevin Garnett and you get to be an all rookie member, I wouldn't believe that. So for you, that has to be an incredible feat.
Definitely, man, because I was, at the end of the day, I was truly the only one who really believed in myself and believed in my abilities, and really wanted to go to the NBA. So to have that fulfillment become true, I'm in heaven, I mean, I did that, but now here we go again. What's next? It's kind of mama mentality. What's next?
Yeah, what do you think is next for you?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, there's tons of things. One, I know I've been talking about this a lot, but I've really been focusing on my children's book and trying to really, really finish that out. So hopefully, by the fall, it will really come out. I'm really close. There's just a couple of things that I have to understand and learn because it's something totally different for me. I can't just put my shoulder in somebody and do a nice shot. I gotta go through emails and all that different processes. But that being one, and definitely having something else dealing with the game, whether that be the big three coming up, or dabbling into some coaching, figuring out if I want to be a GM or something like that. I think it's time. I have a ton of knowledge that I am ready and willing to give back to the youngsters as I do in mentoring. I mentor young kids as well through the Clippers program. So hopefully at some point something else happens in that manner where I start getting into coaching. But for me, it's all about figuring it out too. I just don't want to jump in there and feel like, no, this is my thing. And actually, I don't. It's not like how I had it as basketball as a kid, where it's like, I know I want to play basketball. It was like, I don't know what kind of coach I want to be yet. Like, that's just there's different variety of coaches and coaching. So it's just like, which one do I want? So right now, I go out, I do a lot of different things, whether it be helping kids or helping some of my guys that I grew up with who are coaches, and see what type of experience that I like from there, and where can I start to guide myself in that manner.
Yeah, and you mentioned kind of figuring things out, which I feel like that's a key to a lot of things people do in their life. Like right now with podcasting, that's still something I'm trying to figure out is how to stay on a consistent schedule, how to network, how to do how can I improve every single interview, how can I kind of play along with the people I'm interviewing, and I feel like that's a kind of a key to everything is just figuring things out.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You gotta see it, you gotta write it down, then you gotta act on it, right? So um, different jobs entail different variables, but you got to make sure you find out and you have an understanding. So because if it is something you like, then you understand and you can bam, it's set forth, it's straight. But some things can be complicated, so you just got to take it one day at a time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it goes along with researching as well too, because I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure with you when it came to the NBA, you researched a lot, and basketball when you were younger, you searched up a lot. How can I like what can I improve or well maybe not
Yeah.
searched up, but like learn from mentors and everything. But like with me, I searched up a lot of podcasts to kind of learn what I can do better.
Yeah, because back then, like especially, we didn't have what the kids have today with all the trainers and coaches. Like I kind of had to learn this by myself in a sense before I got on teams, and have private trainers. So it was definitely a learning experience. But all that learning, I mean, it's just all stored in here. And it's just so great to have all that knowledge and to be able to look at basketball differently than a lot of other people see it.
I love that you bring up the point of a lot of kids having younger train or having trainers nowadays at a younger age. Because I mean, once you in your time, whenever you go to the league at 2006, that's when you start getting the trainers, or in college is when you started getting the trainers. But really in high school, middle school, and elementary school, there wasn't trainers.
There wasn't no trainers. It was literally, and this is the thing. I actually taught myself something. I taught myself a bit of a routine in college, and I just seen it kind of how I was watching my mother and how hard she would go and work at things, and I said, well, if I love basketball so much, I need to put this work at it too. So at 6:30 in the morning, I would go to school before the school opened, hop the fence, and be shooting in a full-on sweat before I get to class. And I know I felt bad because I'd be like, dang, I'm in here wet and stinky, but I got my work in already, and this is before practice. So I already got one up against somebody. And then I thought about it differently too. If it's 6:30 here, that means it's 9:30 in New York. I'm catching these guys too. So just start to think about the game globally.
Really, I mean, I feel like this is a pretty easy answer here is I mean, this is kind of a given answer, but with kids nowadays, they have their trainers and we see that it gives them much more improvement. But if you feel like you had a trainer within your time, do you think how much of that would have elevated your game?
I mean, it would probably jump started it. I probably would have felt like I could have went to the league sooner, I think. Um, but definitely because I feel like, well, you get taught one how the professionals train, so I think that's an advantage itself. But at the same time, the only good from out of this situation is if your trainer can put you in a situation where you're actually playing people older than you, because that's the real advantage. Like when you're a kid, and what we had as advantages in Los Angeles was that I can go to UCLA and play against pros, but then go back in high school and beat up on the high school kids that are the same age with me because I had this practice with these type of guys. Now I'm getting used to that. I'm getting molded by it. And now when I go over here, it's just like I'm gonna kill you guys. Like I play with these guys. So I definitely think that definitely helps because I know that was one of the things that actually helped us too, playing too, because it's like you can do as many moves as you want, but you gotta go out there and practice those moves on people, you know? You got a one-on-one, two-on-two scenario, three-on-three. That's how you gain your rhythm. You can come out here and do all that, but then when you get in the game, it might shake you up if you ain't practiced that. because you might be, oh, I don't know if I can do that. He looked too good of a defender, you know? So definitely different things you got to think about. But at the same time, I think it's great to have them as trainers, especially the ones who've been around pros, to kind of help the youngsters, you know, get to where they need to be and help them dominate in their sport at their age.
I do gotta ask you from a player's standpoint. I mean, I know with me, there's things where I'm like, man, like I swim, I don't play basketball, but I could be like, man, there's one thing I could have done differently in that race, or man, I could have done this differently in this video that I filmed for class. But I'm sure with you, I mean, what's been your moment where you're like, man, I wish I could have done that differently?
Man, I don't know. I just sometimes I feel like I should have been in the league a little bit more. So what can I have done there? You know, I felt like I was always the first to come, the last to leave, you know? So it just, I don't, you know, you try to figure those things out, but they're just learning lessons at the end of the day. Could I have played 14, 16? I believe so. But maybe it just wasn't in my cards. So, but at the same time, I feel like regardless of that situation, I've gotten better and better and better and better each and every year to where I feel even in my last year in my league, I'm way better than that now. So I don't let, you know, I don't let it bother me like what coulda, shoulda, woulda, or anything like that. I just try to take advantage of the next situation and just be the best I can be probably each and every day. So I don't have those regrets, you know? I try to say, hey, I left everything out there on the floor.
Another thing I want to talk about a little bit before we close off here is going through a trade process. I know today, I mean, you hear whenever Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram got traded, they first found out through social media. With you, I mean, social media wasn't huge back then. So, what do you feel like? How different do you think that would be if you would have heard first Craig Smith was traded to the Clippers? Like, what do you think that would have been like?
Well, I would have still been excited because it's like I was still going home. So for me, it was just like I got the opportunity to be at home in front of my family and friends. But I can kind of understand that. Um, it is tough because it's like you give so much to an organization, you just respect some things in return, and sometimes you just don't get that, and it's a little bit tough because you know players are emotional. You know, we love the game so much, and we're very passionate so it sucks in that manner, but it's just the way it is. And I feel like I actually wouldn't even have felt any type of way because I felt like if, I understand this business. I understand it's kind of cutthroat. If you're not that the big time star on your team, of course you're trade bait, you know? Let's just be honest here. And I think it goes the other way either because you know we always talking about guys and their loyalty to the teams. Well, sometimes the team's not loyalty to them. So where does that play out? You know?
And do you think that was something you kind of understood at that age and that early in the league?
Oh yeah. And I didn't hold on to anything because it's just like that's not my home. Like, let's be honest. Like it's not my home. I love it. I love, you know, the opportunity it gave me, but at the same time, it's just not home. So get traded wherever because it's just like home is where I know I want to be and where I'm from, LA. So can't really beat that place either. So because I'm like, you know, I've been around many places around the world, and I'm like, oh man, you know.
Yeah, what makes LA so special besides, I mean, obviously being where you're from?
Well, one being spoiled with good weather. Let's start there. That's a major difference. You know, and having experiences in blizzards, in negative chill factor, wet type weather where, you know, like in Minnesota, you spit on the floor, got frozen. Like this is ridiculous. I've never had to deal with that in my life. So my spoiledness, you know, I had to get out of that a little bit for what was it, 5 years total in Massachusetts, and then for 8 years for cold weather. For me, that was a culture shock, and LA, since you have the good weather, you have many opportunities to do different things. You can be outside at different places, from the beaches to the parks to hiking in the mountains. Then there's entertainment, whatever you want. You want to go shopping, or do you want to go at a nice restaurant with a good scenery, with a nice view? Do you want to go golfing? Doesn't matter what time, really. 6 a.m. to, sun's gonna be out. The sun's gonna be out. So I mean, it's the best, man. It's the best of opportunities. And what's crazy about LA is it has every little area that favors the rest of the world within the city. If you can understand what I'm saying with that.
Yeah.
Like the whole world, there's different parts in LA that are just like the world in a sense. It's crazy. But yeah, man, you been to LA?
I have not. That's my dream. That's where I dream to live at, though, is LA.
You will. It's be a good opportunity for you too. Podcast world, techie world, social influencing. It's really good. It's opportunity. But I always tell people, you can't get caught up in that the sophisticated lifestyle that exists here too, though. The ideal of Hollywood and stardom and I'm better than you type ordeals. Like, don't get caught in that though, okay? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you stay real, you stay humble, you will get blessed. That's just the bottom of it, And I think some people, they come here and they kind of lose their minds because of everything that goes on, and they don't know how to handle it because maybe they are from a small town in Ohio, and it's totally different. City will eat you alive. So
Yeah.
I think as long as you have the right mind, have the right focus, the right work ethic, everything will be fine. And then you'll just enjoy. You'll enjoy the fruits, after that. That's what it's about. Work hard and play hard.
Yeah. Well, my dream is to be a Laker. This is where we clash a little bit. My dream is to be a Lakers analyst or commentator. So, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Lakers.
That's not negative. Let's be positive with it now. That's what you want to be. Let's get you there. How do you work towards that? How do you
Yeah.
make calls to certain people out there? Hey, I'm Nathan Shaw, and I'm very adamant about becoming the next, sports announcer. How does that work? Can I come in and you never know. You never know until you try. And that's why it's a very important, this quote, closed mouths don't get fed. You gotta what you want, gotta go out, talking at them.
I feel like that plays a lot along. I mean, I feel like that quote itself kind of plays a lot along with networking. I mean, if you keep your mouth closed, I mean, I know a lot of people in my school, they're like, oh, I want to be a broadcaster, but they won't go out and network. Like, that's the difference, is if you network, try to make those connections, try to meet all these different people. Like, I tried meeting analysts, tried meeting you with an retired NBA player before. And it's just, I feel like a lot of it's, you got to make those connections.
Yeah, you gotta make those connections. And yeah, Lakers got their own sports network, so don't hesitate to reach out. You never know what it can do for you.
Yep.
So,
well, I appreciate you for coming on, man. Thank you.
No problem, man. No problem.
If you want to check out the Shot Clock Podcast, check it out on Instagram at the Shot Clock Pod. Check out my Instagram at Nathan R. Shaw. Craig Smith, again, thank you for coming on.
No problem, Nathan. Appreciate it. Had a great time. Go be great.
Thank you.